Bobby. What do you think of this guy? 900 games. 900 games. Olympics, World Championships. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I will. Thank you. Bobby Knight, everybody. Be careful. Be careful. Thank you. What do you think of Bobby Knight? 900 games. He won 900 games. That's called a winner. We're like winners. Thank you, Bobby. I'll tell you what. When I had to win Indiana, and I got the endorsement of Bobby Knight, it was over. It was over. That was a big one. It's great to be here in Pennsylvania. I love Pennsylvania. We've had really great polls coming in. I will say a brand new Rasmussen poll has us up 5 points nationwide. And a lot of states have us way, way up. People are starting to get a little bit nervous, folks. They're starting to get nervous. On November 8th, we're going to win this state, and we're going to win the White House. We're going to take it back. We're going to replace our failed and corrupt establishment with a new government that serves you, your family, and your country. You have to do it, and we're going to do it on November 8th. At the center of our society is going to be a simple promise to every American, and it's called safety. We need safety. We're going to make America safe again. I don't believe it. Look at that room over there. Wow. Look at that room over there. Oh, I wish those cameras could see that. They wouldn't show it, by the way. They wouldn't show it. I wish the cameras could see that. Wow, that is a lot of people. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. That's a long ways away. Thank you very much. The rioting in our streets is a threat to all peaceful citizens, and it must be ended, and ended now. The main victims of these violent demonstrations are law-abiding African Americans who live in these communities and only want to raise their children in safety and peace and with a good education. That's what they want. And we're going to give that to them. We're going to give that to them. Who's looking out for them? For every one violent disruptor, there are thousands of moms and dads in those same communities who just want their kids to be able to walk home safely from school. To all citizens in all of our inner cities and all across the country, I say these words to you tonight. I am with you, and I will fight for you, I promise. The job of a leader is to stand in someone else's shoes and see things from their perspective. You have to be able to do that. Hillary Clinton calls people who don't support her All right, thank you. Oh, these people. But you notice they don't have the same spirit as the Bernie Sanders people, right? There's no spirit there. You say get out and they just walk out. There's no spirit. Hillary Clinton calls people who don't support her deplorable, and irredeemable. Right? I don't think so. I call anyone who doesn't support me an American citizen who is entitled to equal representation under the law. I will be a president for all Americans, and I will campaign for every last vote in every last community. I will extend my hand to every mayor in this country who wants to be a partner in making our cities safer for their citizens. That's what's going to happen. But to do this, well, that's right. Look at, oh. Don't let him get tired. But to do this, we must work with our police, not against our police. They are great people, and they do a great job. Those peddling the narrative of cops as a racist force in our society, and this is a narrative that is supported with a nod by my opponent. You see what she's saying, and it's not good. Share directly in the responsibility for the unrest that is afflicting our country and hurting those who have really the very least. People that are having a hard time. Low income, African Americans, and Latinos in these communities are the ones suffering in terms of lost jobs, lost property values, and really lost lives. You see what's going on in terms of the safeties in the inner cities. It's unbelievably dangerous, and we can't let it continue. We can't let it continue. As an example, 65 people have been shot in the city of Chicago alone since Friday. 65 people. The problem is not that there are too many police. The problem is that there are not enough police. Police are entrusted with the immense responsibility, and we must do everything we can to ensure they're properly trained and that they respect all members of the public, and that any wrongdoing is always vigorously addressed. But our men and women in blue also need our support, our thanks, and our gratitude. Remember that. They do. They are the line separating civilization from chaos. Hillary Clinton does not have to worry about the sirens and the gunshots at night. She doesn't worry about it. She's sleeping. She's sleeping. No, it's the poor family living in the inner city. It's the mother who feels like a refugee in her own country. Who is there to represent these families? Clinton doesn't want to hear their voices. She doesn't want to hear their voices. So I will be their voice. I will be a voice for all of the forgotten Americans in this country. I will be your voice. I'm going to be your voice. People who just want a secure, right? People who just want a secure community for their families, good schools for their kids, and a good paying job to support their loved ones. That's what they want. We will bring security to our African American communities and to our Latino communities. We will bring security, and we will bring jobs and education and care and medical. We'll take care of the people of our country, all of the people. We will also bring school choice, and we'll bring new prosperity. Now, Democrats have run our inner cities for more than half a century. In some cases, they've run the inner cities for over 100 years unbroken. And look what they've done. Nothing. They get your vote. They say, thank you. We'll see you in 4 years. That's all they do. It's time for a change. It's time for a new American future. And I say to the African American community, I say to the Hispanic community, These are communities in the inner cities that have tremendous levels of poverty, bad education, horrible jobs and no jobs. It doesn't get worse, and the cities are so unsafe. You walk your child to a store and you end up getting shot, or your child gets shot. I say, what do you have to lose? What do you have to lose? What do you have to lose? I will fix it. We're going to fix it together. We're going to make it safe. We're going to make good education. We're going to have choice. We're going to have good education. But we're going to make it safe for the people in those communities. And our education will get better, and everything is going to get better, because it certainly can't get much worse. Let's face it. You look at what's going on. We are going to make it better. We are going to fix it. We are going to fix it. My economic agenda can be summed up in 3 very beautiful words: jobs, jobs, jobs. My opponent, Hillary, likes to say that for decades she's been fighting for women, that she's been fighting for children. Why then are 70 million American women and children living in poverty or on the brink of poverty? Okay? She's been there for a long time. There's a woman I notice, I watch, and I see, and she's going to fix this, she's going to fix that, she's going to do this. Where has she been for 35 years? That's what she's been doing. When she ran for the Senate in New York, she said she's going to bring 200,000 jobs back to upstate New York. Didn't happen. It was a disaster. It was a disaster. Nothing happened. All talk, no action. Why has she provided no relief for the millions of Americans in search of affordable, reliable, quality child care? Why? All of a sudden, she wants to do child care. What's happened for the last 35 years? She's been a big part of government. What's happened? You know the old saying, watch what I do, not what I say. True. At the Trump Organization and in my campaign for president, women occupy some of the highest positions. I have employed thousands of women in my company, women of different backgrounds. You know Kellyanne Conway doing such a good job running my campaign. I don't know if she knew she was going to be mentioned tonight, but she's doing a very good job. Women of many talents. And just last week here in Pennsylvania, I was joined by my daughter Ivanka. And I laid out my plan and her plan for child care and elder care. We have also talked about improving education, and I will talk about it more tonight. A first-class public school education, as well as options for alternatives through charter schools, schools choice, and we have to have school choice. Homeschooling, it's all a right, not a privilege. The opportunity to attend a 2- or 4-year college or to pursue a trade or a skill through vocational and technical education should be easier to access, pay for, and finish. And a lot of people want to do that. Education is the bedrock of our society. We need education. We don't have quality education. Women also value security, and I will give great security for this country, for men, for women, for all of us. They want a commander-in-chief that will defeat radical Islamic terrorism and protect our borders. We need strong borders. We will build the wall. And Mexico will pay for the wall, 100%. 100%. 100%. They may not know it yet, but they're paying for it. And in all fairness, they're great people, a great country, have really good leadership. I met with the leaders 3 weeks ago. They're terrific people, and we'll get along great with Mexico. But you have to understand, Mexico is making a fortune with us on trade. They are building factories and plants and things you'd never see. It's like the eighth wonder of the world. Ford just announced they're moving to Mexico. Ford, their small car division. That's on top of what they've already moved there, $2.5 billion plant. No, we're going to make it a very great relationship, but we're going to make it a lot more fair. Okay. Right now, we have a highway. It goes in one direction, right into Mexico. Our jobs go out. Our companies go out. You know what we get? Nothing. Unemployment is what we get. As I campaign across this country, I hear so many stories and pleas from women especially about drug addiction and opioid use. They are doing their best in their communities and for their families to provide a safe, nurturing environment. But even the best laid plans cannot always protect our youth. And increasingly, many adults from this scourge, it's a scourge of drugs, much again coming over that southern border. Much. What a shame. You look at what's happening to the youth of this country, it's being poisoned, and plenty of other people also. But the youth of our country is being poisoned with what's coming across the border. We will end that. We will have such strong borders. We are going to end it, and we're going to help the people that are seriously addicted. We're going to help those people. We lose thousands of our fellow Americans every year to opioid use. I will stop the drug inflow from our borders. 16,500 Border Patrol agents endorsed Donald Trump. First time they've ever endorsed a presidential candidate. These drugs come over the border and make their way into our urban and rural communities and into our suburbs. This will change very quickly after we win on November 8th and take office in January. It is top priority. Every single change starts with a conversation. Together, we will have this conversation, but it will be a quick conversation, not a political or politicians' conversation that lasts for many, many years and then nothing's done. The changes will start immediately. On my first day in office, I am going to immediately begin lifting all regulations that are hurting our workers and our businesses. And they're out of control. I will tell you, they're out of control. This will unleash a technology revolution. America will become the best place to innovate and to invest in the future. The next great American invention, the next great improvement to our lives is right around the corner, believe me. What we have to do is remove the horrible red tape and regulations. Our plan includes one of the biggest tax reforms in American history. It's going to include a 15% tax rate for all businesses, small and large, making our country a magnet for new jobs. We are going to go from the highest tax rate in the land, just about, anywhere in the world. We have just about the highest tax rate in the world to one of the lowest, and that's going to unleash jobs, companies, new business, expansion of old businesses. It's going to be a beautiful thing. The biggest since Ronald Reagan and maybe bigger than Ronald Reagan. We are going to unleash an American energy revolution. Oil, coal, natural gas, shale, energy, renewables. This will add at least 500,000 new jobs every single year. But to be a prosperous nation, we need to be a country that makes and builds things in our own country. We have to start making things again, right? We don't make it anymore. We don't make things anymore, relatively speaking. We used to make everything. Now we don't make anything. Our jobs have been taken. Our companies have been taken. We're going to change it. It's going to be the other way. You're going to be very proud of me, folks. Not even going to be hard. It's not even going to be hard. That is why I will direct the Department of Commerce to identify every single violation of our trading rules by our foreign competitors. They are taking advantage of us big, big league. They are making us look like babies. We will apply every lawful remedy to end these trade abuses. Steel jobs, and you have to see, all manufacturing jobs, they'll all be returning to Pennsylvania in a very big way, and pretty quickly, too. Pretty quickly. You'll be amazed. And when people think and companies think and the bosses think they can take their company and move it to Mexico or some other company, and they can make that product and fire all of their people in the state of Pennsylvania, the hell with the state of Pennsylvania, they say. So they'll fire all of their workers that have been there for years and done a great job. And they'll go to Mexico, they'll go someplace else, they'll make the same product or a similar product, and they'll sell it through our now very strong border. Not going to happen, because they will pay a 35% tax every time they make their product and want to sell it. And now what will happen is very simple. What will happen is very simple. They won't move. They're staying. Now, they may leave Pennsylvania, go to another state, but you got to fight for yourselves there, right? But we're not losing to other countries, that I can tell you. But they're not going to move. And they'll fix up their plant, or they'll go to another location within our country. But we're going to have so much business coming back to Pennsylvania. So, number one, when explained to the company, they'll say, guess what, we're staying. And the special interests aren't going to help. I put a fortune into my own campaign. I'm spending so much money. I'll tell you what, it's very interesting. So I've got tens and tens of millions of dollars spent in my campaign, and I don't want the big money. We're doing a lot of fundraising for the RNC, Republican National Committee. Reince Priebus is doing a fantastic job, by the way. Fantastic. We're raising money for the Republican Party. But we have the smaller donor, $61 average. And we're taking in millions of dollars from the smaller donor. The first time anyone's ever seen that in the Republican Party to this extent. Because people want to contribute even if it's a small amount. And it's amazing what's happening. And I'm spending a lot of money on my campaign. So that when they come to me and they say, listen, Mr. President, or listen, Donald, the lobbyist, call me up. And I say, I don't want to even take his call. I know half of them. I know a lot of these lobbyists. I know them. And by the way, they're very effective. They're very smart. They're very effective. They totally control the people in office, to a large extent, but they're very, very effective. And when they call me, I have no interest. I have one interest, making it good for the people of this country, making it good for our country. That's the only interest I have. Or I wouldn't be doing this. Or I would not be doing this. Your state, as an example, has lost 1/3 of your manufacturing jobs since NAFTA. NAFTA, one of the great disasters of all time. One of the great, maybe the worst trade deal ever made in the history of the world, not the history of our country. NAFTA is one of the worst deals ever made. You look at New England, you look at Pennsylvania, you look at Ohio, you look anywhere you want. Look at different parts of Pennsylvania. It's never going to recover from it. I mean, we will, if you get me president, we're going to bring a lot of jobs back. But I'll tell you what, if Hillary gets in, here's your chances of recovery. 0, 0, 0. 1/4 of your manufacturing jobs have been lost since China joined the World Trade Organization. These were both Bill Clinton deals backed by Hillary Clinton. The Clintons robbed Pennsylvania, stole your jobs, and shipped them to other countries. But we're going to bring them back. We're going to bring them back. Jobs are going to come flowing back to America. It used to be that cars were made in Flint and you couldn't drink the water, right? Cars were made in Flint and you couldn't drink the water where? In Mexico. Right? Remember, you couldn't drink the water in Mexico. But the cars, there was a massive place with cars, and now it's very sad. I was there 2 weeks ago. Today, the cars are made in Mexico, and you can't drink the water in Flint. How bad? How bad is that, though? How sad is it? So we're going to turn things around in this country. There are reasons the hedge fund managers are all donating to Hillary Clinton's campaign and not to mine. Did you see? They were at about $48 million, and I was at $19,000 in terms of donations. And I'm trying to figure out who's the guy that gave me the 19. I think I'm going to send it back. We'll have to send it back. Everybody getting rich off the rig system and who want nothing to change and nothing, they don't want anything to change. They want to keep it the way it is, are throwing their money at Hillary Clinton. I read where I'm ahead in Florida, and she's outspending me on commercials, or she intends to, but she has already, 50 to 1. How can I be leading in Florida? She's outspending me 50 to 1. Can that be possible? Maybe 5 to 1, 10 to 1. It actually said 50 to 1. And I'm actually leading in the state of Florida, and she's outspending me by numbers that are unbelievable. But we'll see what happens. Look, I think we're going to win this thing. I think people are tired of what's happening in this country. And by the way, in the state of Pennsylvania, the numbers are unbelievable. The amount of money, you can't turn on a television without seeing a phony ad that's totally dishonest, maybe not totally, but pretty dishonest, about me. I just wanted to see a nice Ivory Snow commercial, but there's no room. They're all negative ads about me, and we're doing great in Pennsylvania. And by the way, sign up for the campaign, all of you people, especially the ones back there. Look at the people, I don't believe it. I wish those cameras, you know, if they were honest, they'd take their camera and show that massive room back there, but they'll never do that. They'll never do that. They'll never do that. Among the most dishonest people in the world, the media. And there are some good ones. No, there. The only time they show the crowd, why don't you show it over in this little corner right over here? Take your camera and show what's back there. That room's bigger than this room by a lot. And then on top of it, there are people outside by the thousands. Folks, we have a movement. This is a movement. This is an amazing thing that's happening, and we're going to turn our country around. My campaign is powered by my money and by the small donations from everyday patriotic citizen and by some other people that want to help the party. 95% of our donors are small dollar donations. Every dollar helps your country. We're going to bring it back. So visit, and I hate to do this, you know, should I do it? It sounds, to me, I don't like it. DonaldJTrump.com. I hate to do it, yeah. To find out how you can help and to get involved in the campaign. Because on November 8th, we want people to get out that vote. We want people to get out that vote. We've got to get it out. So let me tell you what else we're going to ask you to do. One of the biggest problems facing young people and families today is the cost of college education. It's a tremendous problem. One of the biggest problems I hear. The cost of college has increased by over 500% since 1973. But what a lot of people don't know is that universities get massive tax breaks for their massive endowments. These huge multi-billion-dollar endowments are tax-free, but too many of these universities don't use the money to help with the tuition and student debt. Instead, these universities use the money to pay their administrators or put donors' names on buildings or just store the money, keep it, and invest it. In fact, many universities spend more on private equity fund managers than on tuition programs. But they should be using the money on students for tuition, for student life, and for student housing. That's what it's supposed to be for. On top of that, the federal government spends over $70 billion in higher education every single year, plus another $130 billion on federal loans. And the students are choking on those loans. They can't pay them back. Before they start, they're in trouble. And it's something I hear more and more, and it's one of the things I hear more than anything else. Here again, the universities don't use the money to reduce the price of college, which is what they should be doing, but rather to increase it. We have to break this cycle. We have to deal with these universities. We have to break the cycle. Our kids are going into life with massive debt that many of them feel they'll never be able to pay off. We have to help them. And I'm going to work with Congress on reforms to make sure that if universities want access to all of these special federal tax breaks and tax dollars paid for by you, that they are going to make good faith efforts to reduce the cost of college and student debt and to spend their endowments on their students rather than other things that don't matter. Another major issue for all American families is health care. It's out of control. President Obama promised Obamacare would reduce the cost of health care by $2,500. Instead, the opposite happened. The cost of health care has increased nearly $5,000 during that time, and actually, in many cases, much more than that. Just one more Washington lie, like the lie that if you like your doctor, remember, you can keep your doctor. Obamacare is a disaster. That's why on my first day, I'm going to ask Congress to immediately send me a bill to repeal and replace disastrous Obamacare. We are going to replace the government-run Obamacare with reforms that put patients first. These reforms include expanding access to popular health savings accounts, empowering Americans to shop for insurance of their choice across state lines, competition, and block granting Medicaid to the states so they can design innovative solutions to the best and to best serve our most vulnerable citizens who need help. Hillary Clinton, on the other hand, wants to give Obamacare to illegal immigrants and wants a total government takeover of health care. That's what she wants. Her plan also gives Social Security and Medicare to illegal immigrants by making them citizens, bankrupting these programs for Americans. What's happened? She doesn't understand democracy. You might think she does, but she doesn't. Public servants are just that. They're there to serve you, not to serve themselves. But the only people Hillary Clinton has ever served are the special interests. Our campaign is about breaking up the special interest monopoly in Washington, D.C. We're trying to disrupt the collusion between the wealthy donors, the large corporations, and the media executives, the ones that control these people. They're all part of the same political establishment. They go to the same restaurants, they attend the same conferences, they have the same friends, and they actually like me, many of them, I must say. They actually do. It's hard to believe, isn't it? They all support the same ideology of globalism that makes them rich while shipping your jobs, your factories, and your wealth to other countries. Gotta stop. I am not running to be president of the world. I am running to be president of the United States. Strong country. I am solely for America and America first. It's going to be America first. America first. Together, we will rebuild this country beyond our greatest dreams. Government will start working again. Fixing things is what I do. Just look at my projects in New York and other places where I turn rundown spaces into new centers of business, activity, and opportunity. Where others saw only problems, I saw potential and did really well at doing it. We turned empty lots into homes, offices, living memories for thousands of workers and their families, and hired thousands and thousands of workers with great jobs and great wages. That's what I want to do for our country. I want to go into the neglected neighborhoods, the failing schools, the forgotten stretches of this nation, and unlock their potential for all of our people. Also, those great corporations, I want them to be greater. I want them to create jobs. The small businesses, I want them to become big businesses. I want new businesses to grow and flourish. Right now, they can't because of regulation and the taxes are too high. So we're going to change all of that. I've made a living for years looking at unused spaces and imagining what they could be. Politicians look at blighted neighborhoods and offer only excuses year after year. I look at those same neighborhoods right now and I'm offering solutions. We will spend so much time thinking about how things used to be, we don't want to do that. We've stopped thinking about how great things could be. And we have to do just have to do this. We have to turn out the doubters, the cynics, the naysayers. We basically have to turn away the politicians that have been ripping you off for years. We want change. And Hillary Clinton is probably the least change in the history of our country. You know, she's always talking about her experience. And she does have experience, but it's bad experience. She's made all mistakes. She's got bad judgment. Bernie Sanders said it. She's got bad judgment. We are a nation of strivers, dreamers, and believers. And that's the spirit that will carry us to victory in November and to great victories as a nation. In that spirit and that same beautiful spirit of resilience, I have seen visiting, and I have been all over the country. You probably noticed, right? Where is Hillary today? I think you're right. No. Well, they say she's been practicing for the debate. Some people think she's sleeping. I have seen visiting, and I've been visiting the flood-ravaged towns of Louisiana, or meeting, great place. By the way, those people are incredible. Or meeting with the incredible but hard-hit people in cities and towns like Flint, Michigan. What a disaster they have going there. All caused by incompetent politicians. All caused. What they did in Flint is unbelievable. They took a good water source, spent millions of dollars to give a bad water source, and now they're all fighting with each other as to who made the mistake. They all made the mistake. It's called government, it's called politicians, it's called incompetence. What a mess. That's right, you're fired. It's that spirit of strength we need to start winning again as a country. We don't win anymore. But we're going to start winning again, I can tell you that. But that means you need to show up and vote on November 8th. You have to knock on doors. You have to pick up that phone, go to our website, learn more, but you have to knock on those doors. You have to watch. You have to be vigilant. You have to make sure it's on the up and up. You understand. You have to campaign in the streets, spread the love that we have in this room all around to the people of Pennsylvania and to the people of the country. To beat the system, and boy, is it a rigged system, you have to lift your voice, pound the pavement, and get out the vote. We have to get out the vote, not just yourself. Get everybody out. If you're so sick, you're not feeling well, the doctor gives you a horrible, horrible prognosis. He gives you the ultimate. He says, Jim, you're not going to make it. I don't care. Get up and vote, right? Get out and vote. You have 46 days to change the world. You have 46 days to make possible every dream you ever dreamed for your country and for your state. And it's a great state. It's a great state. The state of Pennsylvania. 46 days. You have one magnificent chance to deliver justice for every forgotten man, woman, and child in this nation. The arrogance of Washington, D.C. will soon come face to face with the righteous verdict of the American voter. That's you. And you. This November 8th, we're going to show the whole world that America is back, bigger and better and stronger than ever before. Here is just some of what will happen starting on January of 2017. I am going to lower your taxes big league. We are going to eliminate unnecessary regulation that's choking our lives and choking our businesses. We will unleash American energy. We are going to appoint justices of the United States Supreme Court who will uphold the Constitution of the United States. We're going to close our borders to terrorists. They're not coming in, folks. They're not coming in. We are going to save our Second Amendment, which is under total siege. And we are going to put the American worker first. We are going to take our trade deals, which are among the worst deals ever negotiated, just like the deal with Iran was a disaster. Our trade deals are the same thing. We are going to take those horrible deals and make them great deals. And if the other side won't cooperate, we're going to terminate those deals, and we're going to start all over again. We will rebuild our roads, bridges, tunnels, highways, airports, schools, and hospitals. American cars will travel the roads, American planes will soar the skies, and American ships will patrol the seas, built in America. American steel will send new skyscrapers into the clouds. And we're going to take care of our miners, and we're going to take care of our steelworkers. American hands will rebuild this nation, and American energy harvested from American sources will power our great country. American workers will be hired to do the job. We will put new American steel into the spine of our country. I will fight for every neglected part of this nation, and I will fight to bring us all together as one American people. Imagine what our country could accomplish if we started working together as one people under one God, saluting one American flag. It's time to break with the bitter failures of the past and to embrace a new, inclusive, and prosperous American future. Jobs will return, incomes will rise, and new factories will come rushing onto our shores. Once more, we will have a government of, by, and for the people. We will make America wealthy again. We will make America strong again. We will make America safe again. And we will make America great again. Thank you very much. God bless you. God bless you. Thank you.